Some quarterbacks are remembered for their stillness, for the way they command silence before the snap, for the calm they radiate when chaos surrounds them. Philip Rivers was remembered for the opposite. He was remembered for his voice cutting through the noise, for his emotions spilling into every huddle, every sideline exchange, every critical down. He was remembered because he never pretended football was quiet. To Philip Rivers, football was loud, confrontational, emotional, and deeply personal. And that honesty, unfiltered, relentless, unapologetic, became the defining signature of one of the most durable, productive, and misunderstood quarterbacks of his era. Philip Rivers never fit neatly into the league's preferred image of quarterback excellence. His throwing motion was dissected endlessly. His mechanics were criticized. His footwork was questioned. Analysts debated whether his style could truly hold up over time. But what they consistently underestimated was the substance behind the form. Rivers did not rely on aesthetics. He relied on intelligence, anticipation, competitiveness, and an almost obsessive commitment to preparation. He did not play the position to look good doing it. He played it to win, to lead, to compete, and to impose his will on a game that never once intimidated him. Long before the NFL spotlight found him, Rivers was shaping that identity at NC State. There, he wasn't just a quarterback, he was a standard. He arrived as a competitor who believed leadership was not something granted by age or seniority, but something earned through command of the offense and accountability in the locker room. Rivers broke records not because he was surrounded by overwhelming talent, but because he elevated the talent around him. He demanded excellence from receivers, challenged linemen, and absorbed responsibility when things went wrong. He played every snap as if the program depended on it, because to him, it did. That mentality followed him into the NFL, where his career began in unusual fashion. Drafted by one franchise, traded to another before ever throwing a professional pass. For many players, that kind of start creates instability. For Rivers, it created clarity. From the moment he arrived in San Diego, he understood that nothing would be handed to him. He would have to earn trust, earn the huddle, earn the city, and earn the respect of a league that was skeptical of his unconventional style. And he did exactly that, not through charm or image, but through consistency. Once he took over as the Chargers' starting quarterback, Philip Rivers became the heartbeat of the franchise. Year after year, season after season, he stood under center and delivered. He did not disappear when pressure mounted. He did not shrink when expectations grew. He did not ask for sympathy when circumstances turned difficult. Instead, he competed harder. He prepared deeper. He spoke louder. His presence became synonymous with reliability. If Rivers was on the field, the Chargers had a chance. That belief alone is a form of leadership few players ever achieve. One of the most remarkable aspects of Rivers' career was his durability. In a league where quarterbacks are protected, but still punished, Rivers played through injuries that would sideline many others. He missed virtually no starts over a career spanning well over a decade. Pain was not something he advertised, but it was something he accepted. Perhaps the most emblematic example came during the 2007 AFC Championship game, when Rivers played the entire contest on a torn ACL. That moment crystallized his identity in the minds of teammates and opponents alike. This was not a quarterback who viewed toughness as optional. This was a quarterback who believed availability, commitment, and sacrifice were part of the job description. Rivers' style of leadership was not universally admired, but it was universally felt. He talked constantly. He challenged defenders verbally. He encouraged teammates vocally. He held people accountable in real time. In a sport increasingly dominated by polished media personas and calculated soundbites, Rivers was refreshingly raw. He did not sanitize his competitiveness. He didn't pretend emotion was a flaw. He embraced the idea that football is an emotional sport played by emotional people, and that leadership sometimes means being loud enough to wake everyone up. Statistically, Philip Rivers' career stands among the most productive in NFL history. Tens of thousands of passing yards, hundreds of touchdown passes, multiple seasons of elite efficiency, consistent top-tier quarterback play across different eras of the league. And yet, his career has often been framed through what it lacked rather than what it delivered. No Super Bowl ring, no MVP award, no singular championship moment that defines his resume in one snapshot. But that framing misses the point of Philip Rivers entirely. Rivers was not a moment quarterback. He was a marathon quarterback. His greatness was cumulative. It was built across Sundays in September and December alike. It was built through comeback wins, fourth-quarter drives, and seasons where he carried undermanned rosters into relevance. He was the kind of quarterback who made organizations functional simply by being present. Coaches trusted him to manage games. Teammates trusted him to take responsibility. Fans trusted him to compete, regardless of record or circumstance. His relationships with receivers illustrated his football intelligence. Rivers thrived on timing, trust, and anticipation. He threw receivers open before breaks occurred. He punished defensive mistakes with precision rather than power. His arm strength was more than sufficient, but his mind was his greatest weapon. He studied coverages obsessively. He manipulated defenses with his eyes. He understood leverage, spacing, and matchups at a level that allowed him to remain effective even as his physical tools aged. While others declined sharply, Rivers adapted, refined, and remained competitive. As his career progressed, so did the narratives surrounding him. Some labeled him underrated. Others labeled him incomplete. But inside locker rooms, among players and coaches, his reputation was firm. Philip Rivers was respected. He was viewed as one of the toughest, smartest, and most dependable quarterbacks in the league. Opponents prepared for him with caution, knowing that his mouth would be active, his reads would be sharp, and his competitive fire would not fade even late into games. When his time with the Chargers came to an end, Rivers did not linger in bitterness. He did not demand ceremony. Instead, he sought one more challenge. His move to Indianapolis was not about legacy repair. It was about competition. One more season, one more locker room, one more opportunity to lead. And in that final chapter, he did what he had always done. He stabilized the offense. He elevated those around him. He guided the Colts to the playoffs and walked away knowing he had nothing left to prove. Off the field, Philip Rivers' life mirrored his on-field values. Commitment, stability, purpose. He embraced family openly and unapologetically. He spoke about faith without performance. He lived his principles consistently. In an era where public image is often curated, Rivers' authenticity stood out. He was never trying to be someone else. He was never trying to fit into a mold. He was comfortable being exactly who he was, and that comfort translated into confidence everywhere he went. When Rivers retired, he did so with peace. He did not chase farewell tours. He did not linger for attention. He transitioned into coaching, into mentoring, into shaping the next generation the same way he had shaped huddles for years, through communication, accountability, and belief. His impact on the game did not end when his playing days did. It simply shifted form. Philip Rivers' legacy cannot be summarized by championships alone. It lives in the countless teammates who learned how to compete through him. It lives in the quarterbacks who realized that passion is not a liability. It lives in the fans who watched him stand tall through wins and losses alike. He represents a version of football leadership that is becoming increasingly rare, one that values presence over polish, consistency over flash, and authenticity over approval. He was never silent. He was never passive. He was never indifferent. Every snap mattered. Every huddle mattered. Every season mattered. And in that relentless commitment, Philip Rivers carved out a legacy that deserves recognition not for what it lacked, but for what it consistently delivered. Philip Rivers will be remembered as a quarterback who never took a playoff emotionally, who never disengaged mentally, and who never stopped believing that his team could win the next snap. He didn't need silence to lead. He didn't need perfection to inspire confidence. He needed only the opportunity to compete, and he honored that opportunity every single time. Philip Rivers' career reminds us that greatness is not always quiet, not always polished, and not always crowned with championships. Sometimes greatness is found in consistency, in toughness, in leadership that refuses to fade, and in passion that never cools. Rivers gave the game everything he had, every Sunday, for nearly 2 decades, and that kind of commitment deserves to be remembered. If you appreciate stories about competitors who left it all on the field, leaders who refused to compromise who they were, and careers built on resilience rather than headlines, make sure to support this content. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more long-form stories celebrating the players and personalities who shaped the game.